The year of 1994. What is happening, guys? Back at you with another video. So I'm going to be continuing on with this new video series I've been doing, where I've been listing off my favorite movies from each year. So if y'all didn't check out the first video where I did my favorite movies of 1993, go ahead and check that out. It's on the channel. But we're going to go ahead and kick it off and kick it into 1994. So these are going to be my top 5 favorite movies of 1994. But I did want to start off with a couple of honorable mentions. First honorable mention is going to be The Little Rascals. The Little Rascals, I remember watching this movie a lot as a kid. It was just one of those movies that I just enjoyed watching as a kid. One of my favorites as a kid. I used to watch it a whole lot as a kid. I really haven't really seen it recently, but I remember watching it a few years ago and just still having that nostalgia for it. Another honorable mention I want to mention going to be the next Karate Kid. I know this one is probably the least favorite out of every Karate Kid fan out there, but I still kind of enjoy this movie just because I have nostalgia for it. Also, I watched it a lot as a kid also, along with all the other Karate Kid movies, so I could still have a good time watching this movie and just have nostalgia with it. But let's go ahead and kick it into the top 5 movies. Now, this one's not going to necessarily be in a specific order. This is it just in general, my top 5 favorite movies of 1994. And one of those movies is going to be Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Jim Carrey shines in this movie as the titular character of Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. I enjoy this movie a lot. I remember watching it as a kid, and I still have seen it, probably seen it maybe 2 years ago, maybe again, and I can still have nostalgia for it. Just watch it and have a fun time with Jim Carrey in the movie also. And I just like Jim Carrey in general. I like his movies. I like him as an actor, and he's just a fun time to be watching his movies. And this is just one of those movies that's on the list that I always enjoy watching with him in it. Moving on to another movie, and that's going to be Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This is basically a refresh of Wes Craven doing this new idea with the Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy Krueger series, and with Nightmare on Elm Street being one of my favorite horror franchises, Freddy Krueger being one of my favorite horror characters, I really like this movie. I like the way he was able to, I like the way that Wes Craven was able to kind of flip this movie in the idea of Freddy Krueger and make him this sort of entity, and just have the real life actors just playing themselves in a movie, but like have Freddy Krueger as an actual entity that's coming after them. I really like this movie. It's one of my favorites in the whole series of Nightmare on Elm Street. I just enjoy watching this movie, and it's definitely one of my favorites that came out in the year of 1994. But speaking of Jim Carrey, we move on to our next movie on the list, and that is going to be The Mask. The Mask is another movie that stars Jim Carrey in the main starring role, and I just enjoy this movie so much. I still enjoy it to this day. I still like watching this movie. I remember watching this movie a lot as a kid, having nostalgia for this movie also. If I'm not mistaken, it's actually Cameron Diaz's first movie, if not one of her earliest movies that she starred in. But I like the way it just has Jim Carrey just doing his Jim Carrey kind of thing, just playing this starring character of, when he puts on the mask and he just becomes this outrageous type of character and shenanigans, them just going crazy and stuff like that. Like, I just enjoy watching this movie and him being in this, playing this character whenever he's putting on the mask and all that stuff, and just see all the shenanigans and outrageous things he's doing and he does in this movie. And it's just a lot of fun to watch this movie, and just a lot of fun in general to watch Jim Carrey. Moving on to the next movie, and this one is actually going to be sort of a Christmas related movie. This is actually a movie that if I don't watch every year, I watch it probably every other year, at least during Christmas time. Most of the time, I do watch it at least once a year during Christmas time, and I just enjoy it. I enjoy some of the other movies in this series, and that's going to be the Santa Claus. This is a movie I remember watching a lot as a kid. I have a lot of nostalgia. I have a lot of fun memories watching this movie as a kid during Christmas time, and still watch it to this day during the holidays and all that, because I just still enjoy this movie. I can still get a kick from it with the nostalgia, and just remember watching it as a kid and having fun memories with this movie. And I just remember watching the other movies in theaters also too whenever they were coming out. So I just like this series in general, and it kicks off with this first movie that came out in 1994, and I just remember watching this as a kid. A lot of fun memories, a lot of nostalgia with this movie. So the Santa Claus definitely makes it into the top 5 for me. But we get to the last movie on the list, last but not least, and that is going to be one of my favorite all-time movies, and that is going to be The Lion King. The Lion King is arguably on the list of one of the best anime movies of all time. It still remains on one of my most favorite movies of all time's list. I love this movie so much. I still watch it to this day. It's still one of the best anime movies I've seen in all of my life. I think this movie's great. The story's great. The music is great in the movie. The animation's great. I just like this movie all in general, all around. A lot of things that it brings to this, just animated film and everything that Disney was able to do with this movie. Just like I remember watching this movie as a kid, and I used to watch it like nonstop, along with like Aladdin and other animated films like that. I just remember watching this movie a whole lot as a kid. Like literally had the VHS, and I just remember watching the VHS just nonstop too, and just I just get a kick out of watching this movie, and just still have nostalgia for it, still have fun memories with it, still enjoy watching it to this day, and can still enjoy myself when I watch it. Like I recently watched it like a month ago, and I still could still enjoy myself watching this movie, and it still brings me back to my childhood and all that. So this is definitely makes it onto one of the top favorites list of the year of 1994. But yeah, that's going to make it for my top 5 movies of 1994. What are some of your favorite movies that you remember from 1994? Leave them down in the comments below. But that's going to do it all for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Remember, if you want to be part of Team Legendary, all you got to do is subscribe and turn notifications on so you know I post another video. Hope you all have an awesome day. And remember, be legendary.